Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariel, aka Dr. Ariel. I'm an orthodontist, a wife, a dog mom. I'm also pregnant, so I'm a soon-to-be first-time mom. And I wanted to do a little chit-chat get ready with me while I do my makeup to get this makeup look so you can get to know a little bit more about me and also update you on my life. I always prep my face first before I do my makeup. I usually start with moisturizer. And then let's just start with talking about my career. So like I said, I'm an orthodontist. I'll have been practicing for a few years now almost. I've wanted to be an orthodontist since I was a kid. I had really great experiences with my dentist and my orthodontist. So that kept me interested in it. I kind of stuck with that all throughout my schooling, and then here we are today, doing primer next. The schooling is 10 to 11 years after high school to become an orthodontist. I've done a full in-depth video on like the steps you need to take if you're interested in that and want more details on that. But people ask me all the time, like, was all the schooling worth it? And I will say yes. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it's so easy, you'll fly through it. I thought it was challenging, but for the end result that you'll get from it, I think it's definitely worth it. Again, I love my career, and I do think it's important to pick a career that you truly love and want to stick with. That way work doesn't seem as much like work. Like, obviously you're still working, but if you're loving what you're doing, it truly does make it a lot better. I would have to say my favorite part of being an orthodontist is definitely the transformations that take place and how much patients really can benefit from that. A lot of times, like if someone has a really severe case where there are a lot of different things that need to be corrected, and then they go through the whole process and then they see their end results finally. Just that feeling for them, it makes me happy too. Every case is obviously different and everyone has a different severity level of like how your teeth are aligned and your bite and everything, but sometimes having braces or orthodontic work done can really improve your self-confidence. So just seeing that transformation in patients is definitely my favorite part. Outside of my career, like I mentioned, I'm married. My husband and I have been together for 9 years, but then married for about 2.5. We met back when I was still an undergrad in Chicago, and then now we have a baby on the way. We've always known that we wanted kids. It was just a matter of timing for everything, which, as everyone says, there's never going to be a perfect time for anything in life, honestly. One thing for us is we definitely knew that we both wanted to, I had been in school for a long time, so I definitely wanted some time to be in my career for a little bit first before we started having kids, and then we saw from there. So no, there is no perfect time for really anything, but I think right now is a really great time for us to be starting our family, so we're really excited about it. Don't mind my concealer combo. I'm trying to mix a little bit lighter with my current concealer that I typically use because wintertime sucks all the color out of me, so I always struggle with different shade matches during this time of year. My favorite part about marriage is honestly having a built-in best friend that's with you all the time. I'm someone that believes friendship in a marriage is really important, and I consider my husband my best friend. Like, I truly do. It's kind of like you're literally living with your best friend. So for me, it's great. I think marriage with the right partner can honestly truly be really great and a beautiful thing, but I know not everyone gets that opportunity, so every day I really do feel grateful for that because we just really do feel blessed to have each other. We also have 2 dogs together. I've been a dog mom for a while. Our older dog is Milo, and then our younger dog is Luna. I'll throw in a picture of them so you guys can see what they look like in case you don't know. They're such good dogs. Definitely lucked out with that. Growing up, I always wanted a dog. Ooh, I'm almost out of foundation. See if I can get a little more out. We'll make this work. I have some in my drawer though. But yeah, growing up, I always wanted a dog, but my mom was, and honestly still is, terrified of dogs, so it just never really worked out. And so I was like, when I get old enough and I get my own place, like I am 100% getting a dog. And then, Travis and I met, and he always wanted like 1 dog too. And we always joke about this now because he's like, yeah, I only want 1 dog. And we have 2 because we also have Luna now. She was a nice little surprise for Travis. But I just think 2 dogs is nice because then they have a friend. I always felt like Milo was just so lonely. Obviously he has us, but I'm like, you need a friend, someone you can play with. And Luna really brings him out of his shell a lot. So I think it was the best decision. Okay, I'm gonna open a new foundation. I do keep this foundation just on deck. It's one of my favorites. The Lancome one, so I'm gonna open up another one. And then we'll get rid of this one. Okay. So yes, having dogs is great, but definitely if you're considering getting a dog, wait until you have the time for it and you can afford it, because dogs are not cheap. I think with dogs, some people forget, like, they still have basic needs that they need to be taken care of. Like, food adds up, and their vet appointments add up, and any emergencies that they may have if they get sick, like, all of that adds up. So make sure you're really just thinking about it before you do it, because yes, there's so many, like, both of our dogs are rescues. I think it's great to rescue a dog if you can, but you want to do it when you're actually able to do so and able to support them, because you don't want them to be in an environment that's really not much better than where they came from, if that makes sense. As long as you're prepared for it, or if you have help even, you're going to be okay. Because having a dog really is great. Our dogs also have totally different personalities. Luna is our dog that's a little bit more clingy. She never wants to be left out of anything. She always wants to be in the same room as you type of vibes, which is fun. I love that. Whereas Milo is usually like, he's just doing his own thing, kind of chilling, sleeps a lot. We always joke that their personalities are similar to ours. Luna's more like me, whereas Milo's more like my husband, because I'm big on like quality time and always wanting to be together, whereas Travis is definitely like very chill, loves his alone time. So I just feel like it balances out well for them. And it also balances out well for us. I don't always do contour, but let's do a little bit today. Sometimes I just skip this step. Only a little though. I think I skip it because a lot of times I'll overdo it. And I am no makeup guru, by the way. I need to make that very clear. I just like to do my makeup sometimes, and then I like to do it with you guys. It makes it fun. Okay, we're gonna work with that. I think figuring out what brushes are best for things is my biggest hiccup when it comes to makeup. I'll just kind of grab whatever, and then I'm like, maybe I should have used something different, and that would have looked a lot better. Throwing things. Maybe I'll try this one for contour. And I'll probably still go over it with a sponge, so don't worry. Because I know with contour, you're supposed to concentrate up, right? So you don't drag your face down. Yeah, that doesn't look terrible. Blend all this out. Okay, that's actually working pretty well. I like this brush. This is an e.l.f. brush that I just got. Contour all over my finger. The worst thing ever is walking out of your house with harsh contour lines and not realizing it until you get into different lighting. Oh, we're gonna really blend today. Okay, maybe I still used a little bit too much, but it definitely warmed up my face a little bit. All right, so we talked about the career, marriage, the dogs, now the pregnancy. So far for me, pregnancy overall, I've been really lucky. The first trimester was a little rough. I had a good amount of nausea, which is never fun because you just have that feeling. Like, they call it morning sickness, but really it lasts all day, or it did for me anyways. So you just kind of feel not your best throughout the day because you don't get a lot of relief from that. And then I think what makes it tough too, I was talking about this with someone the other day, is that morning sickness, like, or when you're typically having that, is during your first trimester, and it's typically before, depending on when you feel comfortable with announcing, obviously. It could be before you've even told anyone that you're pregnant. So if you work outside of the home, which I do as an orthodontist, like, you know, you're at work all day, you're with patients, you're doing different things, and it's just, you may not be feeling great, but you don't want to show that on the outside. It was just, I was lucky because, I mean, Travis is always great, but he was super supportive. So we found different things that worked for me that helped me get through it for sure. But I do think, like, working a full-time job when you're pregnant, and, you know, depending on how your experience is with it, it can be tough. Shout out to all the moms out there that have been through like morning sickness of any sort or any kind of complications with pregnancy while working. It's tough. So honestly, I have a lot of respect for it going through it now, because it really isn't easy at all. I think a big thing for me was just reminding myself, like, oh, it'll all be worth it. You know, you're going through this for a good reason. But that doesn't make it any easier to go through. Like, who wants to feel like they have to throw up all day? Like, it's just not a good feeling. But that has gotten so much better now. You know, I have a bad day every now and then here and there, but nothing like my first trimester at all. So I'm extremely grateful for that. Put like a little blush on my nose too. I don't even know if I've shared yet on this platform, but we're having a baby boy, which we're really excited about. I know everyone always asks like, oh, did you have a preference either way? We truly didn't. Now, I did feel like before we even got pregnant, I always felt like we would have a girl first. Just knowing my husband and myself, that's just the vibe I got. I was like, oh, I think we'll have a girl first. And I was absolutely wrong because we're having a boy. While we were pregnant, before we found out anyways, I was like, I kept telling My husband, I just have a feeling it's a boy. Something in me is telling me it's a boy. And you know, this is before we knew for sure. My intuition was totally different than, you know, pre-pregnancy what I thought. I was like, it just really does feel like we're having a boy. And then sure enough, we're having a boy. Honestly, I could probably do a whole separate video on just pregnancy updates, how it's been for me so far, things I wasn't expecting, because another really big one was food aversions. I didn't really realize how common it was for you to stop loving foods that you typically loved pre-pregnancy. There were just a few things, like a big one for me, I love Chick-fil-A, and I literally ate it multiple times a week before I got pregnant. And once I was pregnant, I don't remember, I can't remember if I picked it up or if I don't even think I went. I just thought about it. I was like, oh, I'll get Chick-fil-A for lunch. And my stomach literally backflips. Like, it was like, absolutely not. Like, the baby was like, there's just no way you're eating that. And I think I did end up trying it anyway, and immediate regret. If you ever are pregnant and you have that feeling, don't even try it, because it could ruin it for you. But that was a big one for me. I just wasn't expecting. I didn't realize how strong food aversions could be. So, but yeah, maybe I will do another in-depth video. You hear a lot about certain things, but not others when it comes to pregnancy. So that was just one big thing for me that I was absolutely not expecting. I'm happy to report though, I can eat Chick-fil-A again. I officially tried it earlier this week, and baby boy now approves of Chick-fil-A. So that makes me happy, because I heard mixed reviews on, you know, if you're able to ever reintroduce the food or not. Some people were telling me like, yeah, I was able to eat it later on in my pregnancy. Some people telling me they still cannot eat things that they've had aversions from, which is such a wild thing, to like completely love something or love a food or whatever it is and then just not be able to have it anymore. Maybe this seems dramatic now that I'm just saying it out loud, but it really does feel life altering in a weird way, because it's something you had no control over not wanting anymore. Think of maybe like the worst food poisoning you've had from somewhere and how you maybe weren't able to eat that place for a little bit, times 25. That's probably how it feels. But the white I just put on my eyes is mascara primer. I always let it dry for a little bit and then I go over it with my actual mascara. Overall with my pregnancy, like, yes, I've had a few rough days and the morning sickness was not fun, but I really do feel like overall I've had a relatively good pregnancy. So I'm very, very, very grateful for that. I used this setting spray for the first time the other day. It's the Charlotte Tilbury one, and I really liked it. I always spray like a test spray first and before I spray my face. It also just smells so good. I always let my setting sprays dry a little bit, and then I go in with the same beauty blender that I set my face with, just so I'm not as shiny. I like it to be semi-matte, not too shiny. It says you can use this before and after applying makeup. Maybe next time I will try and spray before too. This is without me using the beauty blender at all. So it looks good still, but I like to go in and I always go like under my eyes a little bit and just kind of reset those areas with just the leftover setting powder that's still on here. I'm not a professional makeup artist, that's for sure. And then this is after, so just a slight difference, but I just feel like it helps to take away a little bit of that shine. My lips are also very dry, so we're gonna use, close my drawer. I really need to clean out my makeup drawers, but we're gonna use the Rare Beauty little gloss here, because this makes my lips feel hydrated and then I still get a little bit of pigment with it. It just always feels so good on my lips. Then you can leave it like that, or I just always blot it down a little bit, again to take away some of the shine. I guess that's a common theme, because it stains your lips. Like, it's subtle and I just feel like that looks good and my lips still feel hydrated, which I like. Okay, that is it for today's Get Ready With Me. Thanks for hanging out with me and getting to know a little bit more about me. Let me know if you have any other questions that I could answer in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Bye.